Berg said, you can't say that to me. I said, yes, I can, because that's what you're being. Filling. He's worth how many billions of dollars?
Let me see. What
and
is
he's got to
net worth
suck
in?
up to Comcast. I mean, come on, dude. Come on. Wait on Leeroy. There we go. Starting to get some people. Okay, says we're live on YouTube. Here we go.
162 bill.
Yeah, $162 billion, and he's sucking up to Comcast. He could buy Comcast, and he's sucking up to him. There's Facebook. Okay, we're growing on Facebook. Twitter is still there. All right, check in, Wimkin. Going live. Tell me when we're good.
Okay.
Getting Leeroy. That wasn't too bad. We'll get everybody back. It says we're good. Are we good?
Live. Yep, we're good.
Closing.
Let me get on all the other channels.
All right, everybody. Well, I mean, it is what it is. At least nobody will ever get to see that, but we got a chance to talk about the Olympics and give our opinion on the opening games and the opening ceremony. Shirt of the show is Red Friday. Use code RED15, 15% off. By the way, we are, oh my gosh, we're $213.44 $213.44 away from our monthly goal. We still have a few days, but if you can help out, please do. We offer linktapgo.com/DUM Show, 100% secure. And you can use PayPal, or you can go ahead and use Stripe. Both are 100% secure and encrypted. If you don't feel comfortable doing it online, Olivia's going to pop up a P.O. box right.
I'm doing it.
Right.
Doing it now.
Right. Meow. And meow. Right. Meow.
Wrong one.
Right.
Sorry.
Meow. Meow.
Go.
Meow.
I hit the wrong thing.
Meow.
I'm trying.
Meow.
There it is. Make sure you put Team Hayden or Team Ethan. They're still competing.
They're done. That's over. Amy, are you okay? You got business tonight? You need to go?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm just checking on you because I know you get busy.
Good.
All right. So, Leeroy, do you have business tonight? Do you need to go?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Then let's rock and roll. We have everyone needs to it seems funky on the panel tonight. Everyone seems kind of, all right, everyone follow me. Put your hands up like this. Everyone put your hands up like this, please. Everyone put your hands up.
Put them in there like you just don't care. Sorry.
Do you want to lead this?
No.
Do you want to lead this chakra? Okay.
We could, Hayden could come in and do
okay,
her
do you want to
voice
lead it or
warm-up.
not? Okay. Put your hands together like this. Okay. And go like this now. Make knife hands. And then go like
That
this.
hurts.
And go, hey. You gotta your chakra. I want to hear it.
There you go.
I want to hear.
You'll hear that tomorrow morning, but
If you're not going to play, you get to leave.
If I do that, I'm gonna fart.
We're aligning our chakra. We're aligning our chakra. And now we're going to come into the Namaste pose with fingers to the sky. And we are, or if you want to, yes, if you want to do the, whatever power you're feeling your finger. And now we're going to say Goose Fraba. Goose Fraba. Good. Don't you guys all feel better?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wake the fuck up. Okay. You already cranked. I heard it. So we're going to cover something that's concerning tonight when it comes to, well, here it is. I believe there are two things that are going to hurt Donald Trump tremendously. And he's getting his ass kicked by the social media blue check mark team. The blue check marks are kicking his ass. The whole reason Kamala, now she's going to get a bump because it's honeymoon period, and Democrats were like, we've lost this election, and now they're all energized, and the media is doing their job propagandizing and saying that she's a moderate. Give me a fucking break. The woman
further left than Bernie.
She wanted to put the Green New Deal through. Are you kidding me? It's $100 trillion spend. You had to ground all planes, kill all cows. Give me a break. This lady is knucking futs, but her social media team is just fucking annihilating Trump right now. Twitter, is just completely owned by liberals. The conservative voices are getting drowned out. And so here's what I'm going to say. Donald Trump needs to get a social media captain. He needs to get social media players. He needs to go out and hire a social media network and do exactly what Democrats are doing and have people post on his behalf and constantly send out 2016 to 2019 economic numbers, world peace, jobs, stock market, NAFTA versus USMCA, Abraham Accords, ISIS and Al-Qaeda prosecution of the caliphate. These things need to take place. And I'm willing to do it full time. I will literally go on 24 hours a day if I have to help. But Donald Trump needs to pull his head out right now and take some of that money and hire a counter team of 65 to 70 of the biggest contributors to the conservative movement, shows like mine, and get our accounts on Twitter up.
Yeah.
Filter, pay for advertising, get our counts up, get our followerships up. You talk about us and you get us out there and let us do the work. Otherwise, you're going to lose this election. And that is 100% from my soul. He's getting his ass kicked on Twitter. And that's where the votes are going to be. That's where the young vote is going to be, and he's losing. Second thing, JD Vance, like I said, you had the greatest VP that you could have picked. You had it. You had this election wrapped. They would never have used Kamala. They never would have played that card. They played the woman card, and you let them. They played the minority woman card, and you had the minority woman card. I want to look everyone in the face who talks shit about me for saying Nikki Haley. How you fucking feel now?
Right.
I still don't want Nikki Haley. Then you want to lose, because what they did is that they are making this about identity politics. They made Obama about identity politics. Sure. They made Maxine Waters about identity politics. They made Eric Adams about identity politics. And you are allowing them to win because you didn't take it away from them. That's my opinion. And I'll get to Kamala and tear her apart in a minute. But right now, I got to call a spade a spade. And although I don't know if he's going to lose, I don't think that. But this momentum is dangerous, and you could have stopped it. You could have completely crippled the Democratic Party. Instead, you let them come back into the game. Remember what I said? RNC. I said, in the clutches of defeat, the Republicans got a victory. In the clutches of victory, the Republicans are starting to see defeat. Yep. And I told you, don't get cocky because the Republican Party has an ungodly knack for screwing things up that are going well. I'll leave it up to y'all to talk about.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Democratic Party was smart to wait to pull Joe Biden. They probably, obviously they had this plan for some time. They wanted to wait until they saw who Trump's VP pick was.
Yep. And
then they made the decision because, actually, Jason and I were talking about this earlier. Can he take back his VP pick and change? They took, Biden off the ticket. Can we do that now too? Can he say, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm gonna choose"?
He should. He should absolutely say, you know what? My decision for vice president is based upon who we're facing. And I need to bring in a strong woman on abortion, a strong woman who understands geopolitics. And I am going to fight fire with fire, because it's not that it's Kamala that I have a problem with. It's the policy. And I believe that we need to make a switch. And you know what? I'm going to. I'm not afraid to make the right decision for America. It doesn't show weakness. But here's the thing. Nobody cares. JD Vance, I told you, it didn't help him. He didn't get a bump because it's already MAGA. You've got to bring the un-MAGA person in and turn them into MAGA and get that moderate vote. And she had it. I'm telling you right now, if he would have went in the RNC with Nikki Haley, you would have seen a 7 to 8 point bump, even with Kamala in the race right now, just because he opens up an entirely new demographic. But now those moderates are moving towards Kamala Harris because they believe.
Yeah.
They believe the media. Go ahead. What else?
Yeah.
Anybody. I don't care.
So I think what you're seeing right now is the power of the media at play, right? And it's all based on bankroll, folks. The Democrat Party has amassed a huge sum of money that they are going to use to manipulate the media, because we've said this on the show, if they can control how you feel, they can control how you vote.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things that we can do, and this may be from the ground up. I mean, they were talking about this whole, and when I say they, I mean the Democrat Party was talking about this whole thing, Kamala being this grassroots movement, and yet she didn't win a primary.
Right.
So that's not grassroots. Grassroots is from the states up, from the population up. So the only way we're ever going to be able to shift that needle is if the people that are on social media, all forms of social media, if we start interacting more. The biggest thing that I can tell you is that if you live in one of the swing states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Wisconsin, please, for the love of God, do me a favor and just go to the RNC's homepage and read the party platform. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's
number
not this
one.
other bullshit.
Number one, seal the border and stop migrant invasion. That's pretty cool. Hey, Arizona, how does that sound? You're a border state. How does that sound? Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. Number 3 was end inflation and make America affordable again. In every one of the swing states that I just mentioned, one of their top items was the economy. Number 4, make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. Hey, Pennsylvania, how does that sound? One of your number one industries is fracking. Kamala wants to shut you down, and this is the RNC platform saying, no, let's turn the taps on. So please, for the love of God, I was just going to say, go ahead and share this on all of your social media and make sure that you get that messaging.
But it won't help. If he doesn't change the messaging, it won't help. It's JD Vance is getting obliterated right now because he made some stupid. I told you that nobody wants the election fucking deniers and nobody wants J6 supporters. Nobody wants a person who says women should be taxed and punished if they don't have children. I'm sorry. You don't say things like that.
He said that?
Yes. Said you should go ahead and give breaks and discounts to people who have children and families, and the people who don't should pay a higher tax penalty.
Well, that's stupid. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
This is why you vet your candidates. This is why you make sure. But now Project 2025 is sticking to Trump because JD Vance was a part of it. So now it sticks to him. Like I told you, it wasn't a good VP pick. I like Vance, but he's not red. That's why I told you in 2028, he's not going to be running for president. I don't think he was the best pick. I told you for 4 years who the best pick was that was going to win him the election. Now, they just make it so hard on themselves. And like right when I felt the momentum going, right when I felt everything was, dude, he got shot. And he's dropping in the polls a bit. That's not good. Now everyone's like, oh, don't worry, it's the polls. It'll even out. Yes, it will. And yes, she will get on camera and embarrass herself. But you don't understand. They're selling her as Martin Luther King, Obama 2.0, and they're winning. Okay, listen, the people who are like, Trump 2024, you're not the problem. You're voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump. Everyone in this panel is voting for Trump. We're not the ones that are going to move over to Kamala Harris. Moderates don't care about political party. They don't. The only thing moderates care about are people being moderates, and they are winning the job of making her not look like a far leftist. They're bringing her to center. Now, the truth is, Trump, if you look at it, left is way over here, far left, like extreme socialist bullshit progressives, and far right, which is more, a little bit fascism is what people say, but we're not going to go on the horseshoe method. But the whole point is, here it is. Trump is like right here. He's not far right. He's not moderate, but his circle flips into right and middle, moderate. Kamala Harris is so far left, I can't be on the screen anymore. And she is selling it with the media that she's a moderate. And that's enough for people to say, no, I'm good. I'm going to go over to Kamala because she's moderate. She's not. The woman believes in stopping fracking. She believes in cutting the energy sector. She believes in importing oil from overseas and stop drilling in the United States. She believes in the Green New Deal, wanted the Green New Deal. She doesn't believe in charter. She doesn't believe in voucher for schools. She believes that the school union should be increased. She believes in open borders. She believes in DACA, that illegal immigrants should not be labeled as illegal and should not be punished for crossing over the border. The woman, listen, Leeroy, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Oakland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, $65 billion in deficit. Oakland and San Francisco are literally going to fucking not exist anymore. Not exist anymore. That is what's happening. Their businesses are closing, mass exodus. Look at New York. They are cutting the budget on trash and sanitation, leaving trash out for 10 to 15 days on some of these because they can't afford to do it. Police officers are being cut. Homicides are up in those cities. 37 out of the top 50 Democrat cities are the highest in the nation for homicide of black youth. Democrat policy sucks ass. This shouldn't even be close, but nobody is saying that. Nobody's talking about that. You don't have the pundits on TV saying that. You don't have Twitter saying that. You don't have conservatives. So Leeroy can tell you all these beautiful stats, which are amazing, all day long. And nobody's going to hear it because the right people aren't saying it. We're not the problem. The viewers aren't the problem. It's the people who aren't listening to us who are the problem. Leeroy, I apologize. I had to get that out because you can do this all day long. It won't matter. It won't change one mind.
Agreed. All I was going to say was she also advocated for giving student debt, and she supported healthcare, free healthcare for all illegal immigrants.
And
Openly,
she's for
she said that.
a late-term abortion.
Yep.
Folks, it's Kamala Harris. This should be the most open, slam dunk, easiest thing in the world. But what she did is they got the youth vote. They took it away from Trump because she's a Bernie bro. She's a Bernie bro who's not black, but looks black enough. You heard it from my daughter. I'm like, she's Jamaican and Indian. She goes, doesn't matter. She looks black. That's what my daughter said last night on the show. My daughter crushed it, by the way, on that show. That little girl has got a fucking opinion, and it's amazing. But she's like, she's black. It won't matter. Democrats will vote for her. This whole thing, if Trump does not get a social media marketing company right now, he's going to lose. Matt, You know what? I told you in 2020, you didn't listen to me. I told you in 2022 we were going to lose the Senate. I told you in the midterms when we were going to go ahead and lose those races. You didn't listen to me. 17 out of 17 people that Trump backed up who believed in J6 and stolen election all lost, including Herschel Walker, Majewski, Dr. fucking Oz. I also told you Fetterman wasn't a true Democrat, that he was more of a moderate and he would surprise you, and he did. I told you Whitmer would win. I told you Kemp would win. I told you Abrams would lose. I told you Kerry Lake would lose. Listen to me when I say this. He's got to stop the blue check marks on Twitter right now, the Blue Anon crew. And these are people like Harry Sassan, the Krasenstein brothers, Brooklyn Dad, Jojo Mers, George Takei, Rob Reiner, Keith Olbermann. These people are decimating Trump online with bullshit and lies, and we have to counteract it. But I can't do it. I need $40,000 a month. You got to give me 40 grand a month in order to even make a dent. Because right now they're pumping $5 million a month into this easily. Yep. I'm watching it, folks. I see the ads. I bought marketing for a living. I bought Twitter and Facebook and all social media. I know how much this costs. Truth Social, but folks, listen to me. He may own Truth Social, but that's like saying I own the Don't Unfriend Me network. So because I own the Don't Unfriend Me network, I have influence. Yes, I do with people who are following Trump, but my influence is very little with people who aren't. And the reason why is because, the people who are on Truth Social are Trump followers. You don't need to convince them. You need to convince Twitter. You need to convince Facebook. You need to get on YouTube. Donald Trump needs to be doing interviews with me and people like me so we can go out and advocate. He needs to be talking to Damani Felder. He needs to talk to the Wright brothers. He needs to be getting down into the lower podcasts to get his voice out there to the people who watch, who maybe don't know. Jared says on today's episode, I told you so. Sometimes. But is that really the problem, that I told you so? Or is it that I told you so? Which one's the problem? That my action of saying I told you so, or the fact that I'm telling you yet again and people are just Trump 2024?
If I told you so was the ending statement and Trump wins or loses, I mean, I would take the I told you so if it was something, if there was even, if we could push that needle to the point where Trump would win. I would hear I told you so every day for the next 4 years, and I'd be good with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got to do better. It's just, we've got to do better. He's got to, this is how he won 2016. And his I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. His arrogance when it comes to Truth Social and Twitter, he's got to swallow his pride and go back on Twitter. He's got to be, he should be hitting Twitter as hard as he can, or let Elon Musk buy Truth Social, whatever it is. But you got to get on Twitter, dude. That's where it's at right now. That's where the free speech battle is happening. Elon Musk has created a network of free speech, and it's bad. There's shit on there that I never want to read. But at least you have a voice now, and you can tap the conservatives who are here ready to roll for you, ready to rock and roll for you, who will hold rallies online. They're bringing in people, 185,000 people on conference calls. That's what the liberals are doing. 185,000 black
have a conference call with that many people.
Right.
Goodness.
You use Zoom, and you buy a business account, a black business account, and you can put 1 million people on these calls who can listen in and chime in and get in line, and they hold rallies online. This is what I'm talking about. The Democrat machine is in full gear. And they waited for they took all momentum from the RNC and just stole it. Like, we were just like, you guys remember the Mummy, and that blimp is going through the canyons, and Imhotep is like, turns himself into a tidal wave, and he chases the thing, and all of a sudden the fucking
all you see is the giant face. Yeah.
Right, and it's rockets, and then all of a sudden it's like because the gas runs out on the rockets, and then all of a sudden it's moving like a quarter mile an hour, and then Imhotep goes swallows it. We are that balloon. Yeah. And if we're not careful, that blue wave is going to run over us because it's only 3 months away. That's the danger of this. That was my point, was I don't know. I'm not calling.
No, you're right. We absolutely have to find, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I know what you're saying. That messaging has to get out there, and it has to be done on spaces where independents actually go to get their news. That's where we're going to push the needle. How do you do that? More money.
It's money. You go to an influencer like Benny Johnson, and you go, Benny, I want you to go ahead and take the 5 most influential podcasts that you pull from, and I've got $1 million. I want you to hire them. I want you to train them, and I want you to go ahead and I want you to give him talking points every day to hit out. And Benny Johnson grabs 10 of the biggest influencers he has, and then every morning he meets them together and they go out and they penetrate the internet. I get sucked in by a big group. I don't know who it would be. Maybe it'd be Larry Elder. Maybe it would be the Damani Felder. Maybe I'm actually one of the team captains. I don't know. I think I speak really well for Trump, and I think I can sell his message fairly well. I've been doing it for 4 fucking years. And then we go ahead and get 10 people, and then that group unites. And you put a captain in front of that group. So there's somebody large that goes ahead and oversees Benny. Maybe it's Don Jr. oversees 5 of the biggest talks. And then you basically create a network of voices that go out there and attack this shit. But what's happening is Krasenstein posts something and 5 other influencers are taking, that's what people read on Twitter. They read the first 5 and then they just go away. And those first 5, liberal. And yep, that's 100% true. This is true. And I'm watching, I'm going, this isn't true. This video is cut incorrectly. These talking points aren't correct. But nobody's able to go after them because there's nobody there to combat this shit.
Right. We need more of the voices on the right to be more vocal, to interact more with the independents, and to call out the left-wing bullshit when you see it. That's what it has to be.
Well, Bongino is a great one. Of course, Bongino's already doing it, but Bongino already has a network. That's the thing. Bongino already talks to a network of people. The point is like, okay, this is quickly, TPUSA. TPUSA has an ambassador program. They have tens of thousands of people who have registered for the ambassador program. But because you don't have 1,000 people on Instagram, but I've got 200,000 on Facebook, they won't talk to me. Are you kidding me? This network that we have speaks to 3.5 million people a month. And you're not going to tap me because I don't have Instagram, the hardest thing in the world, because I don't post a photo of my dick. I'm not going to go ahead and, or me in with my shirt off and oil over my body in Cancun, or I don't have a really cool meal to go ahead and, or my cat and silly hat poses. I don't have time for that shit. That's how you grow on Instagram. And TPUSA has a plethora of conservative voices, including Damani Felder, including Our Lives Matter, and hundreds of others. And they're not tapping it. This is what I'm talking about.
We need to be like the Democrats and appeal to the more young people. I mean, we're like the old people party.
That's the truth.
Yeah. And
we were when they didn't have a choice, when Joe Biden was the old person. But now you got Kamala. And Kamala is going, listen, I'm just letting you know right now. I have a very, very reputable source and who I consider a very close friend. Just got done meeting Governor Shapiro in Pennsylvania.
How'd that go?
He said he's fucking amazing. And he's a diehard Trump supporter and Republican. And he's like, I was so impressed. I was impressed with his professionalism. How the
Shapiro?
Republicans did it. Yes. They did not take my product. Let me, you asked me a question. Let me answer it. He didn't.
I thought I had him. I just thought I had him listed as incorrectly in the party. That's all.
GOP went ahead and ignored me and kept pushing me down the road. Shapiro, I called his office. They met with me a week later. He gave me all the attention. He made a purchase and said it was important for his state and bought my product because it was important and treated me like with respect, and might be a Democrat, but the way he treated me was amazing. And that is a die-hard. No, he's not a rhino. He owns Todd. You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't even know what a rhino is. You think a rhino is a person who what? Has a conversation with a Democrat and he's a rhino? So it's anyone who you disagree with is a rhino? That's not what a rhino means. Republican in name only. It's a person who betrays the... I'm sorry. If you have a business and Republicans and GOP are not helping, I don't care what it takes. That's not a rhino. I don't know if he's talking to me or not. Fuck Shapiro. Okay. All right. Fucking child. He's a fucking child. It doesn't matter. This isn't a business. This has nothing to do with politics. It's a business. And if he can do that to a person from the GOP, as much of it, if I told you who this person is, you would shut your fucking face. You'd shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. Die hard Trump supporter, met Trump more times than you've probably seen him on TV, and just said Shapiro was impressive. That's all he said from a business standpoint. Shapiro was impressive. Doesn't make him a rhino. It makes him honest. What do you guys think? Have you guys tracked Shapiro in Pennsylvania?
I was just going to say, you are talking about Josh Shapiro, correct?
The governor, right?
Yeah.
What state?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Oh.
I've got him listed as a Democrat.
I just told you he's a Democrat.
Oh.
No.
I
I thought you said, yeah.
There was some level of debate there is what I was getting out of all that.
Why?
Gotcha. But
Okay, let me
probably
explain.
the whole rhino thing.
Yeah, well, that's somebody else opening their mouth. He's a Democrat.
Yeah.
And the person I spoke with is a diehard Trump supporter, went to the GOP in Pennsylvania. GOP kind of stalled and was not really engaged, even though they say that they are. And I can't really say what it's about, but you can put two and two together. It's one of the biggest topics in the 2024 election. And went to talk to him about this product, and they were just kind of like, And Shapiro took the meeting, purchased 400 and some odd units of it, and made it important and distributed it to the police department and made an order because he's serious about stopping this in Pennsylvania. Now, does that make that person a rhino? No, of course not. It makes that person a businessman. And I never ask people's politics, but what he said to me is, man, you know what? I'm a little worried because he was very kind to me. He was very nice to me. He paid attention to me. And even though I hate his politics, as a man, he was impressive.
That's fair.
Sorry if you're both confused and it's my fault for not communicating.
I was confused, but once you reset it, I got it. I thought you were saying that Shapiro was a diehard Trump supporter, and I'm like, wait a minute. That was what confused me.
I see what you're saying.
Friend,
Okay,
That's what I took out
No,
of
no.
it too.
Once again, I just owned it and said it was my fault for not explaining it correctly. Once again, the person I'm talking about is a diehard Trump supporter who has met Donald Trump, who endorses Donald Trump, who speaks about Donald Trump on a massive scale in some of the highest ways possible. Met with Governor Shapiro about a product that he is trying to take national to help in the fentanyl epidemic. And the GOP brushed him off, and Shapiro didn't.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. But I'm not going to out it.
Right.
And I can't because it's not right. That's not right for me to do. But the people who know. And there's no way that person will ever be called a fucking rhino. I didn't say he liked his politics. What I said was, as a man, he was really kind and on his game and sharp. Where the GOP talked to him for 17 minutes, Shapiro talked to him for like an hour and 45 minutes. That's a governor who did that. So what I'm saying is if this person gets on the ticket and he shows that level of, affability, you're going to have a situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would be not saying from our perspective, but from a Democratic perspective, I thought he would be one of the contenders for VP.
Yeah, well, that's my thought too. And Alex says, I think you're panicking. Lots of laughs. Kamala is retarded. Everyone knows it. The Democrats are pushing back towards the crown. Yeah, I think that's a mistake. Whoa, Mel Lowe. Thank you, Mel.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mel. You're the best. You know what? That is the biggest mistake in the world, is to assume that the Democrat machine can't lie for 3.5 months and she can't dodge the questions. I think that's a horrible mistake. But, people said I was overreacting in 2020 when I said Trump doesn't have a path to victory. People said I was crazy in 2022 when I said we were going to lose the Senate because they suppressed the vote because everyone said it was a stolen election. And I said, you have to go out and vote, Georgia. And we didn't. And we lost 2 Senate seats and we gave the Democrats the Senate and we haven't gotten it back. I'm sorry to tell you, and whether you like this or not, MAGA hasn't won shit since 2016. Shit. 0. Butt kiss. Nothing. MAGA has lost every time. Thank
Wow.
you, Jacob.
It's actually Kevin.
Kevin.
It's a joke.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's a joke.
That's his Hebrew name? Jacob?
No, I went to say hi to him, and Yenny bumped my hand, and it came out Jevib, and it's just stuck. So
Yeah.
that's his new name.
I think we're making a mistake. It's not overreacting. I'm watching this take place, and this is what I do. If I told you Trump was winning, you never said I was overreacting. So why would you tell me when I'm saying he is losing ground?
He is losing ground. If you go to election betting odds 4 or 5 days ago, just prior to Harris's announcement, Trump was at like a 66.5%. That was the odds that everyone that bets on these types of things, that was the odds that Trump was going to win. That is down to a 57.3%, and Harris now sits at a 40.4. So they are evening out fast.
Todd, I want to apologize to you. You're not juvenile. I started off with saying this is a friend. So I think calling someone a rhino is like calling someone a slur. Because conservatism and is an ideology. It's a belief structure. It's something that we take very, very personal. And it's cored with our most intimate beliefs in ourselves. And when we challenge somebody, when we don't know them and call them a name like Rhino, Republican in name only, what you're espousing is that they're liars and their ideology is fake. And to me, I think that's a horrible, degrading thing to say to somebody who isn't. I've been called a rhino, so I'm sensitive. It's my trigger. And I don't appreciate people who call anyone. If someone called you a rhino, I would react the same way. I don't like that word. I don't appreciate it because it has... What it basically means isn't what it means. It's saying you don't support Trump. If you say anything positive about Democrats, you're a rhino. And for 4 years, I've been called a rhino, and I'm fucking sick of it. And if people would have actually listened to this show on a massive scale, I have a feeling that a few of these elections would have went our way. But they didn't. And we put in a fucking idiot moron like Herschel Walker. I got my toy badge. I'm police officer.
Janet Cozone, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Janet Cozone has an interesting comment. Says, MAGA is turning out to be a cult waiting for the savior. Janet, I'd like to push back on that one just a little bit. Cultism isn't something that really tends to run really strong on the right. When you tend to lean right, you're more about individuality. You tend to less affiliate yourself with larger groups. Larger groups is something that the left tends to lean on quite a bit. That's how we get to the idea of identity politics. That's the idea behind intersectionalism, intersectionality, rather. So I think you really need to monitor that one.
I don't. I agree with Janet completely.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ernest.
Thank you, Ernest.
I agree with Janet for a couple of things, because I think what she's trying to say is it's not that the actual movement of Make America Great Again, which would be to get back to our family values, the nuclear family, get back to the unit, the principles, Christianity, what we're founded on, or at least some belief in higher power. Because even if it's nothing, you still believe in something. We can have that dialogue with anyone who wants to challenge me who's an atheist, and I will tell you that your religion is just as much of a cult as you say mine is.
I don't understand.
Hold on a second then. Okay. I'm almost done here. And, but there are people, there's two types of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. There's the people on the left, and then there's the people on the right. And they are very real. And they have attacked me on the right and called me a rhino, called me, not a conservative, an unbeliever, a Biden supporter, a liberal, simply because I do challenge Trump from time to time in his decision making, and that's my job, to call balls and strikes. And people say that I'm not loyal. When you believe that Donald Trump was anointed by God, you got some problems.
Right.
I believe, like, if you think God cares about politics, if you think God cares about sports teams, you're in the same group. Like, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, right, and you're like you up there, yeah, number one, God. If you want to thank God, that's fine. But don't give God credit for your touchdown, because God had nothing to do with it, because he doesn't care about, I would assume, because he's a deity. And if a deity cares about human emotion like a football game, then he's not omnipotent, is he? If we can understand him and conceptualize his thought process and his ideals, then he's not a deity, is he? Because if a human can conceptualize what a God thinks, then my Lord, we wouldn't need disciples, and we wouldn't need the 10 Commandments, and we wouldn't need the prophets. So my point to this, simply, is that there is a group of people who believe that Donald Trump can do nothing wrong, and those people are just as bad as the people who think Biden can do nothing wrong.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, and then Joel has a question.
So I don't understand why the people on the left call us a cult because we support Trump. They were just as bad with Obama. And if you consider us a cult for supporting Trump and being Republican, then you guys are a fucking cult too, because you were freaking crazy over Obama for 8 years, and you still freaking are. So tit for tat, this isn't a cult. I don't remember the last time being a Republican or a Democrat or being into politics was considered a cult. Cult would be freaking Waco, Texas. Cult would be freaking all the other crazies that they drank the Kool-Aid and all committed suicide, and that's a freaking
Jim
cult.
Jones, yeah,
Haley Bob Comet,
yeah, all of them, yeah.
The Haley's Comet and the deep Mormons, where it's like they're like a sect off of Mormonism. It's and they're
the same thing with Opus Dei, and the
and
same
it's
thing
just
with the
freaking
some of
nuts.
the Southern Baptists, whatever the fuck they're called, the one that hates soldiers and homosexuals who aren't really Baptists, but
yeah.
they call
But
themselves
a
that.
cult is where you follow somebody aimlessly and blindly, and everything they say is perfect, and you do everything that they tell you to do, no matter what. Whether that's kill your own children or somebody else, or do this to yourself, or cut yourself, or do this, or blah, blah, blah. Sorry, but no politician is going to tell me what to do with my life and what to do with my children and how to do anything. So no, we're not a freaking cult. And the people who think we are just, to be completely honest, you're fucking stupid.
Jennifer Rice, $96.92 at the Donor Friendly store. You're going to love that hoodie. Congratulations. Thank you for helping us out.
What was that comment? I didn't see it. I saw it was from me, but I didn't see it.
She's been trying to do something for 2 weeks on a site and can't get to it. So it was.
Oh, God. She's been trying to get into Wimkin.
Okay, so you need to reach out to Jason or give her the Wimkin helpline. So we got to help people through that. She probably can sign in. It's just her email.
Just message me.
So I want to watch a couple of videos, and I want to reinforce. Amy, did you have something you wanted to add?
That's okay.
No, Amy. Do you have something you want to add?
It's really just kind of cementing what everyone just said, and just pointing out that the news commentators for the left, which is mostly all major news systems, they have not been kind to Kamala, and people haven't liked her, but the cycles have changed, and now they're doting on her and saying what a wonderful person she is and how much she's done for this country and how she's not the borders are. They're literally changing the narrative to the opposite of what it's been, and people are listening. And that to me screams more of a cult-like mentality than anything else. It's like the people who do blindly
really
follow.
It's gaslighting.
Everything that's saying on the news.
It is gaslighting. That's exactly what and that's what they're doing on Twitter is they're gaslighting. What they'll do is they'll say something like, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are the most loved black people on the planet.
That's so
and
gross.
black people will come in and say, wait a second, what? And then white people come in and say, wait, what? And then somebody will go, yes, I agree. And then black people come in, yes, I agree. And you've got 4 groups of people who just fucking spam that post, and it gets 30 million views because you're fishing for engagement. So if I go on there right now and I say, if I was to go on and say Barack Obama is a Muslim who hates Christians, and Kamala does too, and they're best friends. It's not true, but it could be perceived by some as, and then people going, no, it's not. And then, yes, he is. And then you get these wars. And I engagement farm too, and I'm really good at it, but I don't lie What I do is I give you the facts that nobody really wants to hear, and I usually give you a little bit of both, something for the left and something for the right, and say, now discuss amongst yourselves. And I will say that the level of intelligence in our threads have gotten so high because the moderators do such a good job of keeping out the morons. Diana Woodcock had something to say. And I got to read it just because of her last name. It's rhetorical.
Rhetorical question, Farley.
Rhetorical question, Farley. Conservatives suck at getting the truth out to the masses. We've retreated to our own echo chambers because of all the censorship, and we're not reaching the independents. I hear so many great things on podcasts, but I have no way to post it where independents might see it. It needs to be an eye-catching headline that brainwashed people might read. The mainstream media puts out so many lies and needs to disprove them. We have to get the truth out. Exactly.
Yes.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yes. That's why I have the dumb news, right? And that's why I put it out there. I put out one article a day because anybody who's putting out 25 articles a day is not in the news business. They're in the mass production business. If I can put out one piece of news that is accurate and to the point and detailed where I take my time on it, then I'm doing something well. By the way, Dumb News is getting a revamp. We're taking away all ads. We're giving it for free to everybody. Hang tight. We're starting that on Monday. You got to watch this video, you guys. You guys got to watch this video. Here's Grassley and Kamala, and I want you to listen to this lady.
Good morning. I welcome everyone to this confirmation hearing on the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh
Mr. Chairman.
to serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman,
on the
I'd like to be
Supreme Court
recognized
of the
for a
United
question
States.
before we proceed.
Regular order.
Kevin says, how do you combat willful ignorance? With unwillful truth. With unwillful truth. Because you don't have to have a will for truth. You just have to present it. And if you continue to present facts, it'll disprove the bullshit. And people want truth. People want to be challenged. People want to change their mind. They want to believe in something. We've just forgotten how to do it, and we've forgotten to try. I will tell you, the things that I used to say on this show, people would quit. People would leave. They would not stay. They refuse to listen. The people who have become humble will say, you know what? I didn't like Matt at first. I didn't like this show. I didn't like the way it made me feel. He would say great things, and all of a sudden he'd say something. I completely disagree with him. But then I found out he was right. So I came back and I started listening, and now it's the only show I listen to. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And although it may not be the millions, and it may not be in the tens of thousands, it's in the thousands now. And someday, hopefully, it will be tens and millions. But the only thing that stops willful ignorance is truth. Leeroy, you were going to say something.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to this.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman.
I
with this
extend a
hearing.
very warm
We have
welcome
not
to
been
Judge
given an
Kavanaugh,
opportunity to have a meaningful
his wife,
hearing on
Ashley.
this nominee.
their two daughters.
Mr. Chairman,
Their
I
extended
agree with my
family and
colleague,
friends.
Senator Harris. Mr. Chairman,
Judge
we
Kavanaugh's
received
many law
42,000
clerks
documents that we haven't
and
been
everyone
able
else
to
joining us
review last
today.
night, and we believe this hearing should
I
be
know this is an
postponed.
exciting day for all of you here,
Mr. Chairman,
and you're rightly proud
Mr. Chairman,
of
if
Judge.
we cannot be recognized, I move to adjourn.
The American people.
Mr. Chairman, I move
get
to
hear
adjourn.
directly from Judge Kavanaugh later this afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Okay, so there's one. So that's not an insurrection, by the way. Interrupting a legal proceeding that's not insurrection unless it's Republicans. Here's your other one. Merry Christmas.
President Obama, after Sandy Hook, more than 23 executive actions, and yet here we all are today. In recent days, former Vice President Biden has said about executive orders, some really talented people are seeking the nomination. They said, I'm going to issue an executive order. Biden saying there's no constitutional authority to issue that executive order when they say I'm going to eliminate assault weapons, saying you can't do it by executive order any more than Trump can do things when he says he can do it by executive order. Does the vice president have a point there?
Some things you can. Many things you can't.
Let's let the senator answer.
Well,
I mean, I would just say, hey, Joe, instead of saying no, we can't, let's say yes, we can.
Let's be constitutional. We've got a
And yes,
constitution.
we can.
She's so dumb.
Oh, and that side will come out. And trust me, this honeymoon period will be over.
This whole when she bobs her head when she thinks she's making a good point. It's just
Well, we're not done.
End up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, it has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place, right?
No.
We are proud of the fact that equity is one of our guiding principles. Proud of the fact that we understand equality is important, but not everybody starts out on the same base. We see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity.
Leeroy, give me the definition of equity, please. Amy, you give me the definition of equity.
It's basically the real definition or what they're talking about.
The real definition.
Equity. I actually don't know the real definition. I just know what they're talking about. What's that?
No. It's equal outcomes. That's
right,
essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Equal outcome is equity. Equality is everyone has the ability to strive for individual success. That's equality. Equality is achievable. Equity is not.
No, because you can't tell everyone to use the crap the same way. That's the problem. We're all individuals.
We all have different skill sets, right?
Right.
We all have different. Listen, okay. If you're gonna be a bricklayer, and I'm gonna be a bricklayer, okay. How do we establish equity? Well, at some point, strength and stamina will come into play in this game. And you're telling me I have to produce less in order to keep up. No offense, and you know this is true. I don't have to. Come on. I'm going to have to produce less in order for you to keep up with me. That's what equity is. So when everybody comes in first, there's no reason to run the race. This is what they found in Maoist China. And this is why Maoism ultimately was a failure and capitalism naturally grew inside China, which made China very prosperous from like 87 all the way to like 2012 to 2015. Now they're going backwards because the Maoists are taking over again. Leeroy can walk you through this with communism rising back up in China. There's no such thing as equity. It's impossible to achieve.
There was a philosopher, I think it was in the 1600s, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who said that equality, and this was one of the first guys that ever said anything this bold. He said equality might have been sustained had the talents of the individuals been equal. And what he was basically saying is, look, everyone has different talents. Therefore, we cannot have equality in society because everyone's different.
Right.
You will always have people who can excel at things differently than others.
Here's something that I wound up digging up that you guys are going to love. I know you're not going to believe me, but that's Joy Reid on the left.
I know.
Basically, Todd Bridges with a receding hairline on one side of his head. The right one is also Joy Reid. After she's been in an Eminem phase for a while.
Yeah.
This, listen to me here. This is proof of Joy Reid saying Kamala Harris was hired because she was black on the left. And on the right, 4 years later, is now mad that we're actually saying that Kamala Harris was hired because she was black. You're going to love this. This is probably one of the best ever. Enjoy. Oh, come on. I did it.
Are
right.
you committed to naming a black woman as your vice presidential running mate? What makes this so ugly is that it reveals a truth that is clearly broadly held within Republican circles. That white men, by definition, when they have a job, earned it and deserve it. And anybody but a white man is a DEI hire. Are you committed to naming a black woman as your vice presidential?
Joy Reid's interview with Joe Biden clearly articulating, along with all the other primary candidates, asking them the question, are you going to hire a black woman vice president? Not a qualified woman, not a litigator, not a constitutionalist, not an economist, but a black woman. Those are the only qualifications. And then 4 years later, pretending that her shit doesn't stink, as she is the one that propagated and planted the seed for one of the many who's propagated that Joe Biden had to hire a black woman in order to run as a vice president and made him commit to it. Very similar to Joe Biden committing to the homosexuals and saying that on a national stage that forced Obama to embrace the LGBTQ community when he didn't do anything for them. Go ahead. Anybody want to comment on this?
You know, you can have meritocracy. You can have someone who gets to a position in life because of merit, because of the things that they've actually done, their personal accomplishments. Or you can have this. You can have, no, now we need to start roping in. I want to know how many women are going to be forced into being on ice road truckers next year, or how many of them are going to go and do that lobster fishing in the fucking Great Barents Sea. How many women are going to go do that one?
It's actually crab, and they want to abolish ice, so that's not going to be a question. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just as a woman, if someone wanted to hire me because I'm a woman, as you know, one of the minority groups. I hate using that word, minority groups. I hate that word. I would accept it if it's like a really good job or something. Like I really would, but I would be honest about it too. I'd be like, yeah, just hired because I'm a girl. They needed to make their quota. I'm on the payroll.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's it.
I got the biggest chest with everybody combined.
Amy, did you ever work at Hooters?
No,
you know,
I never did.
I applied.
Sound good. Yeah.
I would now though. I need the extra money. It's expensive. I need to.
Yeah, you would look good in those short shorts there, Leeroy.
I know.
I was going to say the same thing.
Hanging out the bottom.
But the problem with the DEI crap is just own it. You're openly saying like I'm going to hire a black woman as a Supreme Court justice. Fine. Well, great. We know that everyone else is not qualified for the job now because you changed the qualifications. You have to be a black woman. Which
is the most racist thing.
Right.
You're going to love this, everybody. I hope Todd's still on. Todd, I'm sorry I jumped your shit. I will defend you with as much fervor if anyone ever talks about you when you're not here. I just, and I know I didn't say my friend's name, but some of the people know who I'm talking about. And I have to protect people's anonymity. It's important. But anyway, I apologize if I jumped your shit. I can be wrong once in a while. Just mark the day. You won't see it again. I showed this video to the kids last night. Kids got it in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Both kids knew exactly what this was for. And this is what was great about having the kids on last night is like they read through the bullshit like unbelievable. Like just a scythe knocking down the harvest. They were just like taking chunks out of it every time something on one of these videos. And I want you to watch this because these are two examples of the Hillary Clinton 101 pandering routine. Kamala Harris is not black, okay? I'm sorry. She's not fucking black. She never went to, and Jamaican.
Jamaican.
And
Jamaican.
And she's never been to, she never celebrated Kwanzaa. Give me a fucking break. The first one is her going into a downtown used record shop, and I want you to watch what she bought. First of all, any black person, self-respecting black person, would already own all of these records anyway, because that's like not having Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Neil Diamond, the jazz singer. There's some big Barry Manilow, Greatest Hits. Fuck you all, he's amazing. Here's the video. Leeroy, you want to watch this one because these next two are gonna piss you off. I want you to hold your comments. I want you to watch them both. Liv, you too.
And watch them.
Okay, here we go.
What'd you get? Do you know music? Okay, so first of all, Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic. And then Porgy and Bess, right? And this is a beautiful one. It's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. So there you go. What'd you get?
That's number one. Hot sauce in my bag, swag. Yes, yes. No, this one. Oh my, dude. What an overproduced piece of shit. That if she wins, I'm gonna go back to this video and I'm gonna play it every fucking day. Every beginning of my show, I'm playing this video and I'm gonna say, you people, this is what we got because you voted for this shit. This is the fakest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry. I thought it was AI when I first saw it. Listen to this.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh, my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
It's Mr. President Obama to you, there, young lady.
Holy shit.
I mean, I think they're just
didn't-
setting it up for Biden
It didn't
2.0,
even
right?
It didn't even sound like Michelle and Obama were together. It sounded like they were making two different phone calls. Just
quickly, Kamala Harris. She's the one that kicked off Obama's presidency. She kicked him off in California. She was one of his go-to. She did the fundraiser for him in Senate. She did the fundraiser for him as presidential run. She kicked him off in California. She got him the original electoral votes. She backed him in the primary. She spoke for him. She's been involved with Obama. And let's just be fucking honest. He fucked her. Okay? So we can sit here and pretend that Obama didn't fuck her, but he fucked her. We know he fucked her because we see the way Michelle looked at her for a better part of 8 years. We know he fucked her, okay? And anyone who's been married knows that look. Women know it for sure, and men know it for sure. And it's the look of, bitch, if you were not a senator, I'd have you fucking killed. I would do what I did to my cook to you. So now that we understand, I had a kayaking accident. Yeah, right. Sure you did. I don't believe in salacious rumors, but I'm sorry, Kamala Harris, I don't care what anyone says. Kamala Harris fucked her way to the top. Sure. I don't say those things to people. I don't say those things about people, but the evidence is absolutely there. She openly admitted it. Go look at the relationship with Willie Brown or Joe Brown or whoever the fuck his name is. Look at the comments that have been made about Barack Obama. Look at some of the things. This will all come out. This is going to be the October surprise. I promise you, they're going to talk about Obama and her in an affair. Something will come out with this. They've got dirt on her. Is that what we want? Do we really want an October surprise again? Or do we want to beat them on policy? Do we want to beat her because she's a bad candidate who wasn't elected? She wasn't fucking elected. This is just a dog and pony show. There's no, what about democracy? Remember the republic we're supposed to have? Give me a break. Give me a break. Such bullshit. Amy?
I can tell you what that was.
Go ahead, Leeroy.
I can tell you exactly what that was. That is the Democrat media machine in tune with what is happening on social media, so that when the left ear has that on the railroad tie and they're listening to social media saying, oh, did you hear Barack Obama or Michelle Obama endorsed Kamala yet? Oh, and now it's everywhere. It was all over Facebook. It was all over Twitter. It was all over X. The moment that came out, what the Democrats did is said, hey, there's this messaging out there. Let's turn this point against them. Let's turn this into a huge production. We'll put $1 million into this commercial, right? And then that way that diffuses it, right? That can never be said again now. That's all that is. That is left wing in tune with social media, knowing how to play that game of optics. That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That last commercial reminded me of her BET performance when she was on the phone with Therese. Is that her name? I forget that girl's name. I don't know who she is. But I don't know. Yeah, get a new shtick. I don't know. I love an October surprise. I always look forward to them. So I don't care whose it is. I don't think it really sways a lot of people unless it's something that is going to affect how someone runs our country. Usually it's something salacious and shouldn't matter, but it's just fun to look forward to that. And so I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And we all know Kamala slept her way to the top. I mean, and look, if you want to do that as a woman, that's your prerogative, but you know, own it. I don't know. Like, just own it. You say you're all supportive of like women's rights, and you know, we get to whatever, equity, right? Men can sleep around, women can't. It's different. I mean, yeah. And also, all of Washington sleeps with each other. Like, they're all horrible.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. And listen, I'm not saying that having an affair condemns them forever, but let's stop pretending that this is a nurturing relationship that was formulated out of mutual respect. You fucked her. Just everyone. You want to know how I know it's true? And I don't do this. I don't spread this shit around because I remember and I read. Those articles have all been scrubbed. Go to Google and type in Kamala Harris and Barack Obama affair. Go look it up. You won't find a fucking article anywhere. You will not find one article anywhere. It's all poofed. It's gone. Everywhere. Every paper that did that story. They were seen together. They were palling around in the Senate. They had relationships. We know this. They've been very, very close. There's already been questions about Michelle and Barack's sexual lifestyle, that they perhaps like to have another person join them and other things. And that's where listen, this is all speculation. I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. I'm not here to question that. What I'm saying is stop pretending that this is not artificial as that fucking commercial was. Okay?
Right.
We already know that this woman put her own people in prison and had some of the worst criminal justice policies in California. Do you think black people are going to forget? Do you really think black people are going to forget what this woman did? I don't think so. I really don't. And you can't buy her shit. I've already explained what's wrong with California. I've explained what's wrong with New York. I've talked about the Democrat cities. What do you want? Their policies don't work. To think Black America is going to support her. But I'll tell you what, JD Vance is not doing well in the ticket.
No,
he's not. And I hate to say, he's a nice guy. I like him, but he's not doing well in the ticket at all.
Would it look bad if he changed his VP pick?
No, I don't think so. I think if Donald Trump changed his VP pick, he would be playing chess. And he comes out and says, listen, we've talked JD Vance. JD Vance is an excellent guy, but I brought JD Vance to specifically go after Kamala Harris's vice president, her policies, the border, everything else. Now that he's president, that's my job. She's going after, now I will take on Kamala Harris. And therefore we need to go ahead and bring on somebody in the vice presidential role that we anticipate for her vice presidential pick. Then you bring in Haley, and that's all you say. It's changed. Right. He dropped out of the race. It's changed. So let me get this straight. The president of the United States can go ahead and drop out of the race because he's incapacitated, doesn't have the mental faculties to go ahead, but he can still run the country. But I go ahead and realize that Kamala, it's now her and I against each other. So therefore, I need another vice president to go ahead and handle this. And JD Vance is an amazing person. He will be on my cabinet. He will be a part of my administration. But I need someone else to go ahead and combat the vice president that they have.
You think he will?
I think he should, but he also should have got Nikki Haley to begin with, and this wouldn't have been a fucking problem because they wouldn't ever have put Kamala in, a minority woman against Haley, because Haley had it. Now they're going to put in Shapiro to go after the Jew vote. Don't you guys understand they want Florida? Florida's vulnerable. Florida, although is a Republican stronghold, understand Jews predominantly vote for Floridians. And if they can get the Cuban nationals on board, it's going to be a tough fight in Florida, folks. You still got Dade County. You still got the Keys. You still got plenty of places inside Broward County, inside Florida, that are Democrat strongholds. And they, I don't know if by putting Shapiro on the ticket and putting a Jamaican woman, Indian, black person on the ticket, that you're not going to get some of the votes to switch in Florida. I bet you're going to start seeing the polling in Florida tighten. You may not want to hear that, but that's the truth. He should have went with Haley. Now all these people are like, Matt, I'm sorry, I should have listened to you. Oh my God, you're right. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit about me being right or not. For that and $4.25, I can get one hell of a cup of coffee. What I care about is he needs to make the decisions that are going to work. And if he comes and takes it like that, of course the demographics have changed in this race. I have to be nimble. I have to respond. And I have to focus on Kamala Harris. That's my job. JD Vance was going to do that. Now JD will be on my cabinet, and I'm going to pick a running mate who I believe is not just qualified, but not here because they're a woman and because they're a minority. It's because they are the best to handle the abortion policy in this country, to have conversations in the UN, to have geopolitical conversations, which they've already done as an ambassador, a woman who's already been a governor and can coordinate with the states when I'm not here and I'm abroad, a person who can go ahead and stand tough against Saudi Arabia because she's done the job. Nikki Haley is my vice president. And fuck the Trump base, man. Come on. You people need to get off the tit. What do you want? You want fucking a horrible vice president candidate and have Trump lose? Or do you want to suck it up and have a neocon on there who's going to win you the race? Suck it up.
Yep. It's for the greater good. Yeah.
Well, listen, here's the thing. By Shapiro, there's a lot of Muslims in this country. If she picks Shapiro, I will be shocked because that will be a Democrat actually taking a stand, and they don't do that. Can you imagine, Leeroy, she picking Shapiro and what that's going to do to the pro-Hamas and Muslim crowd? I don't think she has the guts to pick Shapiro, even though he's the best choice.
Yeah, I could see that being true, especially after what happened in D.C. and Philadelphia this weekend. I mean,
I am more afraid of your potential prediction from a few days ago, and I don't want to even say it because I feel like half the time when we say shit like the Democrats are listening and they're like, "Oh, that's a great fucking idea." With RFK,
yeah, it is. The RFK is an amazing choice. It's a scary choice. If she picks RFK, this race is over. Because but see, here's the thing. Then he has to pick Haley, and Haley outpaces RFK. So RFK is pulling in a 11% max poll. And Haley's still, once again, her primaries average 19 to 23%, and some of them are in the biggest fucking states. California, she crushed. I mean, she did well. She did well in Texas. She did great in Florida. So, I mean, it wasn't like, unbelievable, but still, when you're talking 13% of the vote, that is a large swath of American conservative voters. When you're talking 19, 23%, how do you not put that on the ticket? Some people say, do you think Haley turned it down? No, I don't.
Do you think she would?
Yeah.
If she was asked?
I absolutely 120% Haley would run. Yeah.
do you think RFK would? Do you think he would take a VP seat with Kamala?
He doesn't have to. All he's got to do is say good things and drop out of the race. He drops out of the race, it's hers. RFK and Jill Stein are going to eat those votes away from him. If they shore up RFK and get him to drop out, Trump's in some serious trouble. because that youth vote will go to Kamala. It's serious trouble. Serious trouble, folks. The VP pick is a horrible pick. And I said it to begin with. What I said to you. I said, I like JD. I don't think it was the best pick. That's what I said. And everyone was like, oh, he's great. I like him, blah, 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 blah. And Leeroy was like, yeah, he's a nice guy. But nobody was like, JD Vance, yeah. No.
That's the problem.
No.
Has a candidate...
Hold on. Go ahead, Liv.
Has a candidate ever changed their VP pick before?
Before the RNC or DNC, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can't
but
tell
after it was announced.
I can't tell you yes or no, but probably no, I would assume. But that doesn't matter. The shit's already out of the horse, man. This whole election's so fucked up. Go ahead, Leeroy.
When we went down to go see JD Vance's first tour stop here in Middletown, Ohio, my wife was the one who got the tickets, and everyone that went, we were all very excited, and so naturally there's this the conversation just kind of gravitated towards politics, and I said exactly what you said, which was that actually his best pick would have been Nikki Haley, and everyone in the car was like, "Why? That's insane." And I'm like, because it doesn't get him the woman vote. It doesn't get him the woman vote. And, how many women are in the United States? She would bring so many. And it just turned into a big problem. So when we had this discussion, even in the car, they were my own family was like, "No, this is amazing. This is great." And I'm like, "Oh, man, I don't know.
Wait,
I like JD, but."
It's just people. Okay, there's two different types of people. There's people who don't care about winning but want to feel good about losing, and then there's people who want to win. And the people who want to win say Haley or DeSantis was the best choice. I don't think DeSantis was going to take VP, whether Trump gave it to him in 100 million ways, and I think he asked him, and I think DeSantis said, "Go fuck you, pound sand. After what you did to me, 2028 is mine." I think Nikki Haley forgave. I think Nikki Haley put her hands out a little bit, but I have no doubt in my mind that she would take it. It essentially gives her 2028 because she can run in 2028. This whole misnomer that Nikki Haley is a neocon and evil, this is just the bullshit. This is just the Trump base, that the far right who absolutely, fuck them. The guy put John Bolton as his Secretary of Defense. Okay, Donald Trump. He chose John Bolton, the biggest war hawk neocon ever in U.S. fucking history, who makes Hillary Clinton look like a conservative fucking nationalist. John Bolton, Mr. I want to fucking bomb Iran on day one. And you're sitting here worried about Nikki Haley, who has never started a war, who was a governor and ambassador, who was rated one of the most successful ambassadors in U.S. history, who laid the groundwork for the Abraham Accords before Trump left office, who had conversations in the UN, who went and battled with NATO. Give me a break. She did amazing. And when she left office, you know what Trump said? One of the only people in his administration that he said, we would welcome her back in a minute. She was a fantastic ambassador. We adore her. That's what he said. He has never said those words about anybody who's left his administration except for Kayleigh McEnany. And then he called her pretty much a lying whore on TV. And he called Haley bird brain. Listen, Trump's a lot of things. He's a good guy. Fucking want him in the office. But his bedside manner is atrocious. Am I bringing people down tonight? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hurt people. I'm not trying to make you think that we don't have a chance. I'm giving you an honest opinion. I'm not like, oh my God, the sky is falling. I'm saying they're winning the narrative on social media, and you got to win that battle. You have to win that battle, especially with this young vote. You know what I mean? Okay.
I'm going to address that in my 1 minute.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and start it? It's 8:59, and we've already had a show today. Go ahead. You go first.
The big thing that we need to remember here, folks, is that when the people on the right, when the Republicans, when the conservatives, when we try to address the differences between the parties, what do we talk about? Normally, what do we talk about? You'll always have some folks, the ones who don't really think that well, that will resort to name calling. But really what we tend to focus on is what? Policy, economy, the border, drug reduction, and lower taxes. And all those things sound great. right? Then you plug in the social media, you inject money into the social media machine, right? To change those optics a little bit. For what purpose? Just to stoke that fire, to bring everyone's emotions up, to get them excited. Next thing you know, it's like Tommy Boy, like Jojo and the monkey, it's that whole speech that he did, right? Now what are we talking about? We're talking about women's rights. We're talking about there's so much that they try to inject emotionally to get everyone fomented, and none of it's based on fact. In the meantime, you have all of the Republicans going back to, let's talk about policy and taxes and the border and economy. And in the meantime, everyone on the right or the left on social media is losing their mind because now they see a young black woman, right, a minority group, talking about women's rights, and we're losing that battle.
Yeah. It's a good point. Loretta says, but Matt, not all people pay attention to social media or news. The people on the left do.
Yep.
Sure as fuck do.
The leftists do. They sure do. And Loretta, boomers aren't voting for Trump, so it doesn't matter. Boomers are not voting for Trump. Boomers are voting for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. The young, black, they bumped the black vote, they bumped the woman vote, they bumped the young vote, all in one shot. Those were Trump's three categories that he was winning. This is a brilliant move. I told them to go with Nikki Haley. The reason why is they never would have put Kamala Harris if he picked Nikki Haley. They never would have. Democrats would never do it because Kamala would get fucking eaten alive. Haley would eat. She fucking served Ramaswamy his lunch. And that guy can debate. And that guy's good. And she got into his fucking craw. He wanted to kill her. That's how good he was, or she was to him. You can say whatever you want about Nikki Haley, but she went from 1% to 23%, and you people didn't back her up. And it blows my fucking mind. Just from her being self-made. Self-made. She was at 1%. Remember when Trump said, Nikki Haley, I don't even know why she's in the race. She's got 1%. 23% in Texas. And you can't respect that just a wee bit. Just a little bit. Now, someone asked me a question. I'm going to answer it in my 1 minute. Alex said, hey, Matt, do you think Trump will be president? You've said before you can't see it. Okay. The reason I said I couldn't see it a year ago, there was no path to victory at all. There was no way he was going to flip Georgia. He wasn't going to flip Pennsylvania. He didn't have to stand a chance at hell in Virginia, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. We had just lost the 2022 primary. We lost the 2023 governor's races. We ran the runoff races. We lost. We lost everything. Since 2016, we haven't won anything as MAGA. Okay? So there was no path. Then Joe Biden basically turned into a complete dipshit on steroids. More than he was. And you saw Trump get some advice to stop being Trump and start listening and start waiting and choosing his times and staying out of the news cycle and getting out of his own way. And Trump started to gain traction. Then they started prosecuting him. He should be talking about how Joe Biden weaponized the DOJ. Yep. He should be talking about how they spied on his campaign. They should be talking about the impeachment. They should be talking about civilly, how they tried to shoot him. They should be talking about all these things. Why? Should be his campaign slogan. Why don't they want me in office? Why am I such a threat? In a nice way, not like I just said it. Why am I such a threat? Ask yourself a question. Why am I such a threat? I've already been in office. I didn't take power. I wasn't a dictator. I didn't take away any of your rights. I expanded your rights. I expanded rights for Jews. I protected the LGBTQ. I took transgender out of the military because they were absolutely losing lives. They were unhappy. The command was unhappy. The structure, the soldiers, the airmen, the Coast Guardsmen, the Marines, they did not want that distraction. So I did what was necessary. And it's a selective service for a reason. There is no right to join the military. You have no right. They're the only open forum establishment in world right now with a sovereign country that is civilized, that has open discrimination in their ranks. They discriminate against people for a reason. If you're not smart enough, you can't work there. If you're not the right color, they don't want the quota. If you're gay, you can't go in if they don't want you. And if you're a woman, they don't want your tits in there. Get out. They get to choose based on color, sexual, religion, education, your geographical location, everything that you can't do with HIPAA laws and anti-discrimination laws, the military can. Donald Trump can speak that I've done none of those things, but he's not doing that. He's not doing that. So when you ask me a question, do I believe? My belief has nothing to do with it. Because I believe that fucking Donald Trump can grow wings and fart gold bricks out of his ass. But just because I say that doesn't mean it's true. Does he have a path to victory? Let me explain something real simple. He's got to take the following. He's got to take Michigan or Wisconsin or Minnesota with Virginia or one of those two states out of the three that I said. He has to possibly get Pennsylvania. He has to take Georgia back. He has to take Arizona back. If he doesn't take Arizona and Georgia back, even if he wins Wisconsin and Michigan, he still loses. Donald Trump has to have a perfect Southern exposure on the map. He has got to steal and flip 2 to 3 states and a chance to win. The odds of Donald Trump winning, I don't care what the odds makers say. Democrats always have the edge in the electoral map. Always. They have California. Florida doesn't cancel it out. Either does Texas. New York isn't canceled out by Florida. Texas doesn't cancel out by California. They're already ahead by 23 electoral votes before we even fucking start the ball game. You only have to have 270. They have 10% of the fucking game in the bag before we even go ahead and have jump ball. We must hit those states. How do you get those states? Michigan, who love Whitmer. How do you go ahead and get Wisconsin? How do you get the Muslim population that's in Minnesota? How do you go ahead and get the energy workers in Pennsylvania? Leeroy's already told you. You talk to them, you communicate with them, you talk about policies, and you put a person who can relate to them. It's not J.D. Vance. That's it. Can he be president? Yes. Will he? If you talked to me 3 months ago, I would have told you he's got a really good shot. You talked to me a year ago, I said he had no shot. So I guess it's a 50-50 chance. And that's not the answer you want, but that's the truth. Leeroy, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I completely agree with that. Just like what you're saying, that, Arizona's basically a border state. When we're talking about Pennsylvania, Kamala has openly said she didn't want fracking. Virginia, Wisconsin, both of them, they're in recent polls, they've all said that their number one concern is the economy, and yet they both have manufacturing and agriculture as the main bulk of their industry. So, until you start talking to the blue collar workers that are actually out there, turning and burning, the people that are independents, these people, the ones that have not decided yet. That's the key to this. The ones that have not decided yet. Until we start talking to them and swaying that, we're kind of at a standstill.
And last thing, infrastructure game, is that you've got to have ballot harvesting. You've got to have the get out the vote campaign. You've got to have the lawyers and captains. Donald Trump says it's bigger than ever before. I've seen the numbers and I don't agree with that. The Democrats are outspending us 5-1 like they did in 2020 and 2016. I'm just letting you know they're outspending us when it comes to poll captains, then to get out the vote. You guys, yeah. Amy, you got your minute. Sorry, it's taken some. Ladies, I apologize. It's a fired up show tonight.
Yeah, it's been a good show. I absolutely agree. I mean, I like JD Vance. I think he would be a great vice president if Joe Biden was still the running nominee. So I agree with pulling him. I don't know if they will. I feel like Donald Trump, he has a lot of pride, and he does have a lot of this is what I want, maybe not what's always best for the country. And I think he's learning that balance. I don't know if he's quite there yet. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I guess time will tell. I do hope he rethinks it if that's a possibility. I think we need to win. And I think we need to do what we need to do to win. With that said, the Democratic Party is so much better than the Republican Party at outplaying this. They've always got a step ahead of us, and we have to say why. Well, it's because they own most of the media. They own the social media. They own a lot of it. And we need to start, I mean, maybe we have to put more money into these people and paying them like they do to say what we want them to say and put the truth out there instead of always spinning the lies. I don't know. I don't want to be shady, and I'm not saying lie to the American public, but fight fire with fire and get the truth out there by any means necessary so that we can make an educated decision as a nation, not just the TikTok videos that show what you think someone has clipped into a soundbite is accurate, or the AI crap now looks so real. So I hope and I pray that, you know, we're on the right side of things here and that we do win. That's all I can say. And I just want to thank everyone who donated, because we did hit our goal tonight. So awesome.
We
so
did.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
And can you remind me, is it 12 o'clock tomorrow?
It is. It's 12 o'clock, 12 to 1. And you and Leeroy are, what?
No, I said, all right. Yeah.
It's 12 to 1, and you and Leeroy are the main event. So I hope you guys show, because
hot damn.
I'm not going to be
the
saying
main event. Are we like playing a game or something? Is there like
you guys are going to be asked questions by the Dumb Nation.
Oh, I had no idea.
Come prepared, folks.
You guys are the main event on the show. I don't even know if I'm going to be on. I might just get you guys set up and then let you guys run it, you know, because
are we still meeting for breakfast, Amy?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. Well, tell me what time, because I'm down for that.
Okay.
We'll let you know.
I've got, for my minute, I actually have a question from Diane on Rumble. It's a really good question.
Sure. Go ahead.
How do you think our adversaries will see us we'll see the U.S. if Harris wins?
Here's the thing you all need to, just everyone needs to take a breath, because I'm not like doom and gloom. I'm just telling you the things we need to address if we want to ensure a win. I'm not saying it means lose. America doesn't like socialists. They don't. They don't like progressives. And although there is a very large element, it's not enough to win an election. And boomers will come home. But losing Joe Biden, you're going to see the boomer number change. I'm telling you right now. They just won't show up, because I hate to say it, there's inherent racism in this country, and people still feel a certain way. And I just need you to understand, if you don't believe me, go look at Obama's numbers and look at white men over the age of 50 and what the voting turnout looked like. And go look at white women over the age of 50 and look at the voting turnout. And I think you're going to hear a tale. I think that doesn't help her with the boomers, but they're looking to gain ground with the youth, the black, and the Hispanic vote, their base, and bring out their base. She's a progressive, period. Yeah. And she is the worst progressive. She actually wanted to circumvent the Senate, circumvent state legislature, and push forward the Green New Deal with an executive order. That is what she said she was going to do. The Green New Deal, the $100 trillion ground flights, stop mass production of red meat. This bullshit. Okay? This woman is a progressive, and she can't run from that. I will say the last thing is, America will remember why they didn't vote for her in 2020 and why she didn't get a single delegate vote is because they fucking hated her. They did. They hated her. They repudiated her like the plague. And the only reason she got it is the uninformed 3-month voter saw Biden pick a black candidate, and they said, we know Biden. We've known him for 48 years. Let's vote for him. She got a black person. They didn't know anything about Kamala. Nothing about Kamala. They're going to learn everything about Kamala now. And it's not a pretty show. Okay? So let's hold on to that. Was there anything else, Liv?
That's it.
One last comment.
Yeah, go.
Progressiveness or progressivism thrives on emotion, and nothing moves a political needle more than emotion. That's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty true. Somebody says, I'm a boomer and all the boomers I know are conservative. Yes, but that doesn't matter. It's not about you, Kat. It's not about you. It's about the national average. And it's about what the polling says in the statewide races. He has the boomers. He has the boomers by a considerable amount. It's like 13, 14%. They're not going to be the biggest voting demographic in this election. So remember, the youth, this is the last time Gen Z and boomers will dominate the race. It will be the youth next time. We have to reset this country, and conservatives have to open up our party. We have to open up. Why do you think Kid Rock was up there?
Right.
Why do you think Hulk fucking Hogan was up there? Mm-hmm. Why do you think we had the UFC up there with Dana White? That's not conservatives. It looked like a little mini Democrat thing. And the reason why is they're curtailing to the younger audience, okay? And yes, Hulk Hogan curtails to a younger audience of wrestling. Whether you know it or not, everyone who watches wrestling knows who Hulk Hogan is. So just remember, just because you are a conservative and your friends are conservative, it doesn't matter. You got Trump's vote. You're one of the 71 million who are going to vote for him again. We know this. We don't need 71 million votes. We need 76. 76 wins this election in a fucking landslide. If he gets 76 million votes, Joe Biden's going to get 64, 65, and it'll be a fucking landslide. I believe that about 130 million people are going to vote in this election. Maybe a little more. It's not going to be a 2020 race. That helps Trump. Okay? Is there anything else?
Nope.
Don't forget about Amber. What about Amber? Liv?
Not a clue.
Well,
Gotta ask Penny. It's a single comment. I don't know.
all right. Liv, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, tomorrow, 12 o'clock, Dumb Club Zoom call. If you want to be on that, let me know. We'll get you an email out. Please show up. We need to get some people there. I want to keep these things going, so Dumb Club members, please do that. If you have not had a chance, we're not at the end of the month yet. We are still going for our goal. Please go to linktapgo.com/thedumbshow. Leeroy and Amy will be tomorrow at noon. We'll be on the Zoom call, which is a surprise to Amy, which should be fun. And I'm sure Olivia and I will be there early at the beginning, and then we will just dump it all on Leeroy and Amy.
Cool.
All right.
I'll talk
All right,
about
everybody.
myself. Can't wait.
All right, folks.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you.
Have a great night.
See you tomorrow. See ya.
Bye,
Thanks
y'all.
so much. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.